Aaron Rodgers, who is being paid by the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers is on Robert F. Kennedy's short list as a running mate, the independent presidential candidate, the presidential ticket for November. The NFL season starts in July with training camp, exhibition games in August. Season begins in September. This election is in early November. Now, Kennedy confirming, Robert F. Kennedy, that Rodgers and former professional wrestler Jesse the Body Ventura, who was actually in this studio years ago. Jesse Ventura was here when he was the governor of Minnesota. I believe, doesn't he live in Mexico? Can you be the vice president if you live in Mexico? I don't know. Maybe you can. So Aaron Rodgers and Jesse the Body Ventura are under consideration. Welcome to politics in America. So Aaron Rodgers, there's sound of him walking up to accept the nomination. Aaron Rodgers has been besties with Robert F. Kennedy, and they've had many deep conversations, we are informed. Many, many deep conversations over the past couple of months. Rodgers and Jesse Ventura both are said, according to media reports, to have welcomed the overture. Well, what does that even mean? Like, who's not going to welcome if somebody wants to say, maybe we'll make you the vice president of the United States? Who's going to say no to that? If you're a big personality blowhard like Jesse Ventura or Aaron Rodgers, of course you're going to say yes to that. All right, so let us discuss the question, how believable is it? It's one thing to have the report, but how believable is it that Aaron Rodgers would actually do it, that he would join the independent presidential ticket for Robert F. Kennedy and be the vice presidential nominee for election 2024, the White House? So I've got Tea Party, Orville Redenbacher, and Jelly. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a coaster. You know the thing that you're supposed to put your drink on? When you have a drink on a nice table, you're supposed to put a coaster on it. Yeah, that thing, exactly. All right, so number one. I've not taken the temperature in the room, but my position on this, believable. But believable to a point. Believable to a point. Okay, so bear with me on this. It is the stuff of fairy tales. Once upon a time, there was a Hall of Fame quarterback who took a hiatus late in his NFL career to team up with Robert F. Kennedy and save Uncle Sam from the old geezers, Biden and Trump, right? That's it. Now, then you fade to a shot of Aaron Rodgers wrapping himself in the American flag, and then you cut to commercial. And that's how you do it. That's my election commercial right there for Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers, we know that he has rolled in bohemian circles for some time, that he's boys with Joe Rogan, and he's also buddies with Robert Kennedy. So these guys are friends. The MALLER odds, though. Let's go to the MALLER odds. MALLER odds on Vice President Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to set the odds on this at plus 5,000. Now, plus 5,000 is not zero. It's not zero. Plus 5,000 implies about a 2% chance. So there's a 2% chance. How would this work? So I've got a theory on this. I was thinking about this when I was driving in, the long drive from the North Woods, the long winding road. And I was thinking, like, if Robert Kennedy Jr., if this cat can get Aaron Rodgers on a hike, high altitude, mountains, Aaron Rodgers on a hike, and then they have a tea party up in the mountains, and they get together and they sip the ayahuasca, and then they have a meal. And they have the meal, they have a little toad venom, and then they sniff some glue. And if they do all of these things, all of these psychedelic things, voila! All of a sudden, Aaron Rodgers will be like, yes, I like grass, and this is grassroots. So I'm in, right? I'm on the campaign trail. I'm all about it.
I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
So you're saying there's a chance. Yeah, there's a chance. How would the Jets handle that? Imagine, well, Roger, well, I'm probably not going to win, but just start Tyrod Taylor, and then I'm not really recovered from my injury anyway. I'm not really able to play. And yeah. All right, page 2. We go to Jacksonville, and what a story this is. Former Jags employee Amit Patel has been sentenced. This cat's been sentenced to 6.5 years in prison. Federal charges. He's going to serve most of that. He pled guilty to stealing $22 million from the team. He embezzled the money for gambling on, of all things, daily fantasy. Remember this story? Yeah, we now have a resolution. This guy's going to jail for 6.5 years. And he's also been ordered to pay the Jaguars $21.1 million as restitution. I'm sure they'll see that money. He's also got to join Gamblers Anonymous and go to meetings and all that. So the Jags employee who was able to get over $20 million get sentenced to 6.5 years. What are your thoughts on this wild story? So my first thought is get the Orville Redenbacher movie theater buttered popcorn ready, because I cannot wait for the True Crimes docuseries on Netflix. I can't wait, right? This is going to be wonderful.
Get your popcorn ready.
A random dude, random guy you've never heard of, gets a dream job and embezzles $22 million over 3.5 years. $22 million this cat got. And the guy totally botched it, right? Instead of going what the listeners to this show would do, you know who you are, hookers and cocaine, he said, no, I don't want any hookers. I don't want any cocaine. No. I want to bet daily fantasy parlays is what I want to do with my money. Have you ever thought about what you would do if you ended up in a situation where you had a lot of money, whether it's legal or illegal? Like, how would you handle it? I've thought about it a lot, right? I thought about it, like, what would you do? If somebody actually thought I was good and paid me Colin Cowherd money, like, how would I handle that? Like, what would happen? And I'd be like, well, I'd buy real estate. I'd get an amazing portfolio of real estate, which the richest people when I was younger were all real estate. Now it's all a lot of tech people, hedge fund people. But a lot of the owners of sports teams, real estate, still, you diversify your portfolio. But I would buy a bunch of real estate and just have disposable income out the wazoo. That would be what I do. But the moral of this story, the more I think about it, is if you live your life as a hog, right? This guy was living as a hog. And as the line goes, the pig gets fat and the hog gets slaughtered, especially when you don't know when to get out. Like, he likely would have gotten away with it with a couple $100,000. There's a chance he would have gotten away with it. Nobody would have ever noticed. I read a story about this involving the United States military. I think there's a woman in Texas that did something similar. Saw the story the last couple of weeks. And she bought real estate. And she had a lot of real estate. Tons of it. And the government's like, well, you're a civilian. You're not in the service, but you're a civilian employee, if I remember correctly. You're making a regular wage, $50,000, $60,000, whatever, and you've got a mansion in Florida and what is going on? And then they uncovered what she was up to. But at least that woman was smart enough to buy real estate. This dope is betting parlays. What a moron. All right, now, final point. To Cleveland, and I say betting parlays, I mean betting a lot of money on parlays. He had already won the parlay with the $22 million, and he all right, we go to Cleveland. Quite the story here in Cleveland. Jameis Winston has landed. I don't know how many crabs there are. Well, there's a joke there, but in Cleveland. But he will now be the backup quarterback, we are told, for the Brownies. Now, the part of the story that is worthy of a mention in a MALLER monologue is this part. We are told the Browns never even offered Joe Flacco a contract. They never even attempted to keep him. Not for the veteran minimum, not for a little over it. No, they didn't even offer him a contract. This is according to his agent. And now we are learning why. Let me put my tinfoil cap on here. I'm putting my tinfoil cap on right now. So the creepy quarterback did not want Joe Flacco back in Cleveland. Where did I hear that before? Yeah, that's the story. So thumbs up or thumbs down, thumbs up or thumbs down. Is it true that Deshaun Watson, the creepy quarterback, influenced the Browns front office to say, no, Joe, No Joe Flacco. So, yeah, I'm going a big thumbs up on this. I'm going big thumbs up because this is what's known as the V word, validation. It's validation if you take copious notes on the show. And I know like MALLER Prop Guy does, Justin in Cincinnati when he's not smoking weed, he does as well. So these guys all pay close attention and a few others. So we did a MALLER monologue a month ago, maybe 2 months ago now, because it's in March. I think it was January. And we had pointed out that the creepy quarterback, this was what was his agenda here. And we have it on good authority that Watson has been pestering the Browns for months not to bring back Joe Flacco. Like, why would you care? The reason you would care from a person that would know is Deshaun is very sensitive. He was beloved at Clemson. He was America's darling at Clemson and the early part of his career with the Houston Texans. And it absolutely kills him, despite all the money and all the cars and the women and all that people despise him. It drives him nuts. And Joe Flacco came in there, and his numbers weren't even all that good, but he was the hero that Cleveland didn't ask for but received, right? And so right now, the creepy quarterback is choking on jelly. He's very jealous. And so from what we understand, text messages and calls were made. Of course, these were not directly from Deshaun Watson. It's not like he was the one doing it, but on his behalf, through back channels, Deshaun Watson made it known that, hey, you're going to pay me till 2026, no matter how much I suck, and I don't want this guy here. So enjoy that. Enjoy that, Cleveland. That's what you got.